Did I ever tell you what the definition of insanity is? Insanity is doing the exact same thing over and over again, expecting change. That is crazy.
Yeah, strong woman. Travis, money gun, I got your name. Wow, a lot of gifts.
Yum. You're too pretty to be doing this. To be doing what?
Make sure that you're tapping the screen. There's 11,000 people in here. There's 11,000 fucking people in here, okay? Tap the goddamn screen, okay?
Bring. Winkety doinkety boinkety. Bring. A bubbly hubbly wobbly. Bring. Hoppity doppity wobbity. Bring. Muddy muddy mudslide. A grumpy little gator. Chirpity chirpity chirp.
When you scroll at the abyss enough, the abyss starts to scroll you back. Try to remember those words as we are going to be hopping into the deep end of brain-rotting content. Today's subject matter is going to be NPCs.
Ice cream, yum, yum, yum.
Mommy, I'm hungry. Can I have a fruit snack?
And that the fact that they haven't died yet. This content is actually still going around there and it's very popular for some reason. And today's subject matter is going to be Seth Kinstle, Cereal Box Seth, or also known as Greasy Burger Boy. If you think any of those names was an attempt from me to throw a joke out there, unfortunately it isn't. This is a very real creator that has the only purpose of making nonsensical content on YouTube. What's offsetting about this person is that he's actually trying. He has multiple styles of videos uploaded on YouTube, and we're gonna start off with, of course, long form content. Then he has shorts out of usually a situation, for example, where he eats just a normal cone of ice cream, and he cuts that into thousands of pieces and just uploads them all at the same time to the internet. He also does live content, which is very unsettling.
Cheetah little truckity duckity wuckity, truckity duckity wuckity.
The funny thing is, he has his own podcast.
Don't do it, don't do it, don't make these videos. You're gonna...
And even a short animation series.
He rigged all the toys at Hillbillies R Us.
And we're about to go through all of them here today. So get your socks ready, because this is getting insane. While making this video, I started to feel myself going insane, and I started to hear the words beepity boppity boopity, boppity boopity beepity, keepity koopity koppity. It must be insane to make content like this daily for hours. Some of his streams, they go on way too long. And what really is sad is that sometimes in the midst of all of the nonsense that he's making, you can see that little glimmer of spark in his eyes that he might be realizing what I'm doing is absolute garbage.
It's not a stupid song. You know? I'm not a stupid grown man.
And then he just goes back to the exact same nonsense that he was doing just moments ago.
A messy little moosey ate it all up. I built the house out of quesadillas.
And in between these moments of lucidity he actually sounds like a normal, decent person.
Repetitive content where I just do something funny. I do something funny on my stream, and then a bunch of people watch, and then I keep doing it because if I do anything else, they leave. Or I get less viewers as soon as I stop doing that thing, they leave, and then I'm sitting here trying to be normal and sophisticated. And
there are moments where he's definitely having these lucid talks where he's really actually laying out some good points, especially how YouTube works at the moment, is that the lowest commentator for your content seems to be the way to go. It's actually the amount of mass over the quality at the moment that YouTube seems to be pushing, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later. You can actually hear him throughout the streams have some very nice conversations, good points. The problem is, usually when he streams, he has this radio silence that definitely is not going to work, especially when he's playing some video video games and stuff like that. But when he's making this nonsense boopity-boppity content, it seems to be so easy for him to just make that noise, and for some reason it's entertaining for the people to watch, which makes me very nervous that we're sharing this planet with people that actually tune in to watch this content. I don't even blame him. He's doing it for the money. I understand. What is wrong with you for watching this? And something else that grabbed my attention was when I was watching some of these streams that he had is the comment section. They are calling him names that I wouldn't even come up with myself. I'm that type of person that I would claim that has a very thick skin from my upbringing, but even when I was looking at some of these comments, it really made my skin crawl, thinking about the fact that I would be reading this daily. Seth has to go through those comments and read them daily, doing this type of content that he's doing. And in a way, I do understand that he has cultivated this audience for himself. I do understand that maybe there wasn't really that much of a choice in the matter. Sometimes you just have to do what you can to pay your rent. But at the same time, reading that every single day, that really can't be good for your mental state. And hello, not an ad, just letting you know that 97.5% of you are new viewers that haven't subscribed. If you enjoy the channel and the content that I'm making, please throw a subscribe. Or subscribe to me, however you want to say it. I'm making this content in the future a little bit more, so if you want to see some of that content, click the button down below. It's free.
So while we're here, we can have a good time and be sublime.
Seth has his own animated series, and oh boy, is it great. Something that really took me by surprise is the sheer amount of this content that he's actually making. In general, if you just check his YouTube channel, on his animation section from 2020, he has almost 100 videos. This is 71 videos that he has just from the time period of 2020. In these animations, the characters are just staring at you or each other with some very oddly drawn eyes, and sometimes they're just looking in the distance and you can just see that they are a little bit out there. They usually just rhyme for some oddly reason, not really saying anything, and this is basically just pure nonsense that you're looking at on a screen.
A punchline, a joke. I just want to smoke. Hoax. You can censor me.
I think the idea was to try to grab that Elsa Spider-Man content, whatever was happening on YouTube back in the days when we didn't really have that moderation, and you could basically make bank with very low effort videos, but if they flash on the screen enough, kids would watch it. I'm not entirely sure if that's the strategy here, because he's still trying to do some of this content, but some of the content that he's making, especially on the animation side, are very creepy.
People like me, and I need you to go kill them because they're making me look bad. I need to get a piece of ass, and you're too cool. So you're going to go kill them and make everything all better. And Billy killed all the respected, opinionated people online.
What the fuck? The resulting feeling that I got from all of this is that this has to be some kind of an alter ego for him to finally vent from all of the comments and the hate he's getting online.
Bill, you know that there's other countries that can bomb us? And that's when Billy went and hacked until he was able to launch nukes at the countries that were a threat to United States of Billy. Yeah, it's not USA, it's USB.
This was filmed 3 years ago. I know the US is not using nukes against Iran right now, but maybe Billy is a time traveler, and maybe Seth, he can predict the future. Hey. And we're finally getting into the shorts section. This is where Seth usually just films an event in his day, which very often, for some reason, is him eating something. Very often ice cream, actually. It seems to be somehow one of his favorite things to eat all the time in his car, alone, in a parking lot. sometimes even the same parking lot. So the whole idea for him is to film that little section of him eating, and then he is going to milk that, usually a 10-minute event, into multiple pieces of shorts content, which is going to be later on spamming either daily or everything as a big bulk. And at the moment, it seems like how YouTube seems to be working is that as long as you have just posted all of that content, even though it is repetitive as it's almost at the point of ditto in repetitiveness. He's basically just dumping similar videos in a big bulk. How YouTube seems to be working at the moment is, as long as you have uploaded that video, it will try to push it to the audience there, especially with the viewer numbers that he for some reason has. And because the content in very short format is very captivating, people can't click away. It's like a train crash. You just can't look away from the burning people. You have to look for longer. If you have ever heard anybody use the line, fake it till you make it, this right here is the perfect example for that. So the whole point with the shorts is that it's basically very effortless to make it. You can make multiple clips in a single hour from the same subject, and it still keeps working on YouTube for some reason. At the moment, it feels like YouTube is literally just pushing everything out there. He has absolutely found a way to hack the system, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later on.
Call me a pig or an elephant. It's over. It's over.
And this is where we really start to finally understand who Seth is. Of course, this is just a mask, because nobody can actually do this long period. Very understandably so.
Hello, everyone. I would just like to let you know that there are a lot of people saying a lot of mean things to me.
Am I doing that right now?
And I did absolutely nothing wrong, okay? And if I did do anything wrong, I'm sorry, okay? There you go. I'm literally the nicest person in the world. I literally don't do anything. I just sing songs on streams and stuff. Maybe do a little bit of hoo-haws here and there. But honestly, it's really nothing to rev your fiddle about, okay?
What he's saying does kind of have a point. He's not making popcorn, by the way, so hopefully that doesn't distract you too much. What he's saying does have a point. He's not really hurting anybody, and to be honest, people to insult him this way is not the way to go. And to be honest, not even the point of this video is to insult him. It's just to show that there are some gaps and loops at the moment that you can use on YouTube, and that the platform is certainly pushing some very questionable content, but just because you play the game doesn't really mean that you're a bad person. Remember, hate the game and not the player.
Literally am just here trying my best. You know, I'm trying to do stuff. I'm trying to be funny, but honestly, it almost seems like the whole thing is just a lie anyways, because you start to believe that you're a comedian or whatever, or this, and you find out people just try to do it, and then if it works, you know? I don't even care anymore. I'm so sick of everybody insulting me on my stream, sending pig emojis, and making jokes.
Right here, you can see that Seth is obviously leaning to the memes a little bit on all the people sending him really nasty messages and insulting him on the content he's making. But at the same time, it seems like he's taking this to heart a little bit and it starts to weigh on him. Of course, I don't know Seth that well. This might be all just water under the bridge, and this is just him marketing for his channel. But it does feel a little bit too real for me, especially with the titles. I can't do this anymore. After a year, he's still doing this content. I do understand the situation he is in. He has kind of dug himself a hole in a way with his content, because the content works, especially at the moment with the platforms that we have, for example, TikTok and stuff like that. It feels like everywhere this short-term brain cancer content has been just pushed to the wild. And because your market region these days is the whole universe, you can always find somebody that watches your content. The question is, how quickly can you do it? It is a bad situation. I'm not entirely sure how you pivot from this. It would be awesome to see him find the style of content that makes him happy, gains the respect from his audience, and at the same time, he can actually make the same money that he was doing right now.
All right, I do not like it. You guys want to think that I'm just showing up and clocking in every day to get insulted? I mean, who are you kidding, man? And guys, if you want to sit there and say I'm baiting people in and I'm taking advantage of people and I'm lying to people, okay? Because I used to not have anybody insulting me on my streams, okay? For the most part, okay? If you're going to do a stream, you're going to have some... What you're doing isn't going to go unanswered, okay? What you're doing, I will remember the rest of my life, just so you know.
And the reason we have so many people doing this diarrhea content is because it absolutely works. He doesn't have to work. He doesn't have to do anything in his life. To be honest, he doesn't even really have to be that creative. As long as he spams this on the internet again and again and again, he is going to be partnered on multiple platforms, making money on multiple platforms, and absolutely spreading this cancer on multiple platforms. And that's the content in 2020. As long as it's captive in some way and you spam it, that's the only thing you have to do. It can be repetitive, it can be absolutely cancer inducing, but if it's somehow entertaining, and to be honest, calling this entertaining would be taking my brains and squeezing every single juice out of it, people for some reason, they love this content. They love to hate on it, but they still watch it. Because at the end of the day, what's really scaring me here is not even the fact that this is the style of content he decided to make. I'm not even actually insulting Seth here. What's really scaring me is that it seems like all of social media has been started to be pushed into a direction where you kind of have to sell your soul and maybe even your brain cells just to make content for people. You have to grab that attention inside of 10 seconds or you just lose that view. In my opinion, that's not really healthy for our societies. I don't like it that we're starting to push every single piece of content into this short, quick, very abrupt, colory and stimulating content. Back in the days when, in my opinion, YouTube was the best, was when we had those channels where you could actually see the passion behind it. Even though sometimes it might take a little longer for them to make that video, at the end of the day, what you got on the table was so good. Sometimes even Hollywood quality without all of the excess garbage. At the moment, it feels like we're just making a lot of content that doesn't even make sense as long as the platforms can just push it down your throat with some ads on it. I don't like that.
I smell like shit. My face looks like a pissed on carrot. Okay? I smell like shit. My face looks like a pissed on carrot. Bring. Yeah, I smell like shit.
Brother, actually just focus on the beepity boppity boppities. Whew. This video was a hazard to make and it took a long time. Almost a week. If you find it in your heart to leave a like, that would be awesome. And maybe leave a comment on what would you like to see me go through next. It seems like there's a lot of content like this out there. I already have a couple of ideas I want to go through. If there's something that caught your eye on the internet somewhere and you want me to talk about it, just leave it down below. Maybe I'll make a video out of it. Thank you for watching, by the way. Thank you. If you're watching. I'm not sure if anybody's even out there. Is there? Hello? Hello? By the way, if you want to see a super 80 IQ person getting absolutely demolished, check here.